What is going on, fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives Make Money on the Trainer podcast. It's your boy, Brian Mark. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how do I achieve my vision in 2025? B Mark, I've been listening to the podcast and you told me to make a vision board. So I did. And so now I'm here and I've got all of the ideas of all the things I'd like to accomplish. But how do I actually make sure that I achieve my goals in 2025? AKA, what do I need to do to ensure that this year all the things that are on my vision board become my reality? That's a great fucking question. And I'm so glad you asked. Because I think that 95% of people, what they do with their visions is they create a vision board, they put it on their wall, and they never look at it again. And maybe they'll glance at it in passing when they're going to bed or they're walking into their office or they're walking by it in the hallway. But most people do not think about their vision once they've made it. They just make it and then they send it on their way. And I came across this idea when I was at my summer camp and I made my own vision for my life. And I was like, just recovering from my addiction. I wanted to get better. And I worked on my vision literally every fucking day so that I could plant the seeds in my mind for the things that I'd like to accomplish. And through that, I ended up thinking about my vision all the time. And because I thought about my vision all the time, I ended up being motivated to work towards it. So I'm going to give you guys 3 things that you can do this year to make sure that you hit all of your goals in 2025, that 2025 is your year, that this is the year that all of your dreams become a reality. So you've got your vision, health, wealth, relationships, and self. I shouldn't have to talk about how to make a vision. If you guys don't know how to make a vision, you guys can go to my YouTube. Friday, January 3rd at 4 p.m. PST, I'm dropping a YouTube talks about how to create a vision. So if you don't know how to create a vision, you guys can go watch that YouTube. It's going to be at 4 p.m. PST, Friday, January 3rd. So set a reminder, then you can make a vision board. I'm just doing this podcast assuming that you have some goals, dreams, or aspirations that you'd like to accomplish this year. And the reason that you're watching this or listening to this is because you're hoping that this podcast will give you the insight to do so. So I'm going to teach you what I know, and I want your vision to become your reality. I want the things that you're thinking on a day-to-day basis to be reminding you of the place that you want to get to. And I want your dominant thought pattern to be accomplishing your goals. Thing number 1 is to remind. Write that down. The first thing that you need to do if you want to achieve your vision in 2025 is remind. If you just break apart that word for a second, means do again. Mind means put it in your mind. So put it in your mind again. Now, I'll teach you guys how I do this. I'm actually a little bit of a psychopath with this. So when it comes to my vision, when I wake up in the morning, I do a 30-minute morning routine. So I do 10 minutes of stretching for mobility because I'm an old man now. That's fine. It's all good. I got to keep myself young by doing my stretching. I do 10 minutes of stretching while doing some sort of meditation. I do 10 minutes of reading. I'm like reading a book right now. And then I do 10 minutes of meditation. And then I read my vision. Now, my vision is like a written version. You could do this and you could do like your, part of your morning ritual is you watch your vision video. If you're one of my clients, you know what I'm talking about. You could also just look at your fucking vision board. Like in the morning to start your day, you look at your vision board. And you just say to yourself, like, I will accomplish all of these things. And so I do that every day. So every single day, I remind myself of my vision when I start the day, throughout the day. At the end of the night, every night, I also do the same thing. So before I go to bed, I've got a quick little 10 to 15 minute ritual. And part of that ritual is reminding myself of my vision. I'll take a look at my vision board and all the things that I'd like to accomplish. I also have a vision video that I listen to before I go to bed. So every morning and every night, I'm listening to my vision, or I'm watching my vision, or I'm reading my vision, so that I can remind myself of the place that I'd like to go. Now, the reason this is so important, you guys, is if you think like your mind literally has 60,000 plus thoughts per day that go through it without you thinking about it. 60,000 thoughts. All right. That's more seconds than there is in a day. And so if I know that a lot of the thoughts that end up coming through my mind are not ones that I'm choosing, they're coming from my subconscious. They're coming from my unconscious mind. They're coming from the back of my fucking head. If I know that a lot of the thoughts that are coming into my mind are not necessarily my chosen ones, then what I want to do is I want to implant, impregnate, and integrate as much positive thoughts as I possibly can, so that some of those thoughts that end up coming into my mind on a day-to-day basis are not negative ones, they're positive ones. They're me thinking about accomplishing my goals. They're me thinking about my vision. They're me thinking about, driving the car I want to drive, or living in the house I want to live, or making the money that I want to make. It's like I'm constantly like literally just fucking brainwashing myself with all of the things that I'm going to accomplish in my life. And because I'm consistently reminding myself over and 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 over again, not only is it becoming my dominant thought pattern, but that's actually where intuition comes from. So if you guys think about the idea of, we all know about intuition, right? If you don't know what intuition is, it's this gut feeling that you have about something. It's like you check your gut and you're like, I feel like I need to do this. Now, I actually think that you can get your intuition to work on your side. And here's what I mean is if you're constantly programming your mind with all of the goals, dreams, aspirations, and things that you'd like to do with your life, then your mind is going to go to work on how to make that happen. And my belief, and this is something that's served me well, is that if I consistently program my mind with my goals, then when I'm faced with a fork in the road, AKA a decision that I need to make, go this way or go this way, do this thing or do this thing, hire this person or hire this person, do I fire this person or do I fire this person? Do I make the investment or do I not make the investment? When I'm faced with those types of decisions, I believe that because I've programmed my mind with all of my goals, that I'm more likely to make the decision that gets me closer to them. And my gut will typically lean towards the thing that's going to get me closer to my goals. And I just follow that. And so a lot of my quote unquote decision making doesn't take me a lot of time. And if you've been in my life for any amount of time, if you're my close friend, you know this. Like, I will make decisions in a second. Like, I'll make, bam, we have a big decision we need to make, bam, it's done. It's like, I don't think about it. It's literally that fast for me. I think about something. Is this good? Yes or no? Yes, let's do it. Is this good? Yes or no? No, let's do it. Like, there's not a lot of thought that goes into it because I've already pre-programmed my mind with what I want. And I just trust whatever my gut says. So thing number one that you can do every single day is to remind yourself of your goals. Another thing you guys can do, and this is something that I do as well, is I'll take my major goals that are really important to me and I'll write little sticky notes and I'll put them all over my house, right? So I had these sticky notes that said 10K YouTube subs for 2 years all over my house. And the reason that was helpful is because when my videographer, Negan the Vegan, would come over to film me and I didn't want to film, I would look at this fucking goal. I'd be like, fuck, 10,000 YouTube subs. I'm going to get back to filming. And now we're at 11.1 thousand YouTube subs. So like I hit that goal because I was constantly reminding myself of that goal. And now the next goal that I set for YouTube, I'm going to hit that because I'm going to be constantly reminding myself of that goal. And that's how we progress in life, right? That's how we progress. Is like we set a target, we head towards the target, we hit the target, we celebrate the target, and then we move on and we set the next target. And that's how you move forward. So number one is to remind. Number two is community. I think community is especially important when you're just getting started because it's likely, like if you want to build a successful online fitness business, it's likely that not a lot of people that you know are doing it. And when not a lot of people that you know are not doing the thing, that makes that super fucking lonely. Not to mention, you don't have people to bounce ideas off of. And so if you're building your business and you try this one thing that you watched on my YouTube or you watched on a podcast or whatever, and it doesn't work, you don't have somebody to bounce the idea off of. And so you just sit there feeling like a failure because you tried to do the thing and it didn't work. When it's likely a small change or a small iteration to what you were doing is the difference between that post signing clients and that post attracting nobody. But if you don't have a community and you don't have somebody to bounce your ideas off of, and you don't have a community that you can be inspired by, you're much more likely to fail. I think another benefit of the community and being a part of any community that has a bunch of people that are all doing the same thing is you get to see what other members are doing and be inspired by those members. Like inside of the $1 Million Mastermind, we have 18 coaches that have hit $100,000 a month, and 8 of them came this year. And so imagine, being a coach making $15,000 to $30,000 a month, and then seeing other people just like you, some of them with less followers than you, making $100,000 a month. That's like the Roger Bannister thing, where Roger Bannister, nobody in the history of fucking time had ever run a 4-minute mile. It was impossible. Everybody thought it was impossible. And then Roger Bannister made the decision that he was going to run a 4-minute mile. And what he did, actually, this is really cool, is he wrote a note to himself that said 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And he put that note to himself in the bottom of his sneaker underneath his foot because he was constantly reminding himself of the place he wanted to go. So Roger Bannister was the first person to ever break a 4-minute mile. But then in the years after that, there was 50 plus people that broke a 4-minute mile. Some of them were high school students. And so this idea of being in a community where you can see other people doing the quote unquote impossible is what will push you to do better, like go harder, do higher numbers, attend more coaching calls. Because let's be honest, you guys, like once you get to a certain level, like once you get to like 5 to 10 to $15,000 a month, you don't really need to push anymore. Like you have enough money to take care of your bills, to, pay your mortgage, to pay your car bill, to take care of life expenses, to go to the movies every week. And so to find the motivation to actually fucking push can be difficult. But when you are in a community and the container itself is a high level container because other people are succeeding and other people are winning, that motivates you to want to win. That motivates you to want to succeed. That motivates you to want to do better. And so being a part of a community in my eyes is literally fucking non-negotiable if you want to achieve your goals in 2025. It's there's no disadvantage to it at all. The only reason you wouldn't do it is because you're like, oh, I can do this on my own. But like, no, you fucking can't. You're listening to this podcast right now. Like just the fact that you're listening to me right now proves that you're not doing it on your own because I'm helping you in some way, shape, or form. And I used to have that same belief where like, I was like, I just want to do this on my own. But I'm like, dude, that cost me probably 3 years of like rapid expansion. Because as soon as I hired a mentor and I joined a community, bam, it was literally instant because all the questions that I was going to YouTube for, all the questions I was going to Google for, I had access to instantly. So you got to get into a community. You got to be a part of a container. You've got to be a part of a coaching group that inspires you. Cool. The third thing and the final thing that I believe is necessary to achieve your vision in 2025. Write this down, burn it into your brain. Do not forget it. I think it is that important. The third thing, skill development. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team because he wasn't good enough in grade 11. Grade 12, he came back. He started, went to the NCAA, became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Michael Jordan did not have natural talent or ability. Michael Jordan worked. Kobe Bryant. We know Kobe Bryant is one of the best basketball players of all time. Rest in peace. Kobe Bryant had the craziest work ethic out of any NBA player, period. There's stories of Kobe Bryant going overseas with Team USA and they took an overnight flight and everybody went to bed as soon as they got in. And then when everybody got up, by the time everyone had gotten up, Kobe Bryant was already practicing. And then everyone went out for breakfast and then they were going to go to their first practice and Kobe was going to his second one. Like that's just skill development, dude. Like that's just like, I'm going to develop my skills. And like, that was the decision that I made when I first became an online fitness coach is like, I was like, I'm just going to outwork everyone and work on my skill sets. I'm going to work on my sales skills. I'm going to work on my content skills. I'm going to work on my lead gen skills. I'm going to get around the right people. I'm going to like develop myself. If I'm not good at content, I'm going to get better. If I'm not good at talking on video, I'm going to get better. If my reels aren't performing well, I'm going to learn until they do. If my sales calls aren't going well, I'm going to role play until I get better. Like it was just, I just developed the skills, dude. And skill development is still something that I'm working on to this day. But now at this level in my business, like doing $1 million a month, it's not like sales and fucking content that necessarily that are the main skills, although content is still a big skill I'm working on. It's more so leadership. But at every level that you get to, or every level that you're climbing to, the only difference between this level and the next level is like your ability to execute on the skill that is required to get you there. If your goal is to hit $10,000 a month, you're not going to do it if your content sucks. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Like you need to develop your skills. If your content's doing well, but then you can't fucking sell a client to save your life, you need to work on your sales skills. Like, and you need to become so good that it is actually a strength, not a weakness. Because if your content's good, then your sales are good. Bam. All of a sudden you got a business, right? If you've got as many clients leaving as you have coming into your program, you need to work on your program development skills. You might need to take a nutrition course. You might need to study Lane Norton. You might need to learn, right? Because if people are signing up and then they're coming in and then they're leaving or they're not getting results, that's a skill problem, right? If you're all over the place, and this might be you as well, making $5,000 a month, you're fucking all over the place. You have no workflow. You're just doing random shit throughout the day. You're checking your DMs, you're posting on social media, you're scrolling, whatever. And you're trying to get to $10,000 a month. Like you have an organizational skill problem. If you just develop the skill of organization, like you will advance fast. So that core idea of, I don't believe that anything in life is something that we can't develop, right? Like, and I do believe that there are people that are naturally more gifted at certain things. Like I'm not going to be a pro basketball player, but if I wanted to focus on developing the skill of basketball for whatever reason, I could do that. So I believe that like, it doesn't matter what venture you're going into. Like if you want to sell more products and you suck at sales, sales is a learnable skill. That's my belief. if you suck at content right now, your content isn't hitting and nobody's reaching out. Content is a learnable skill. That is a belief that I have. If your clients aren't getting results and you want to get them better results, like you can learn that skill. You can study how to keep people engaged. You can study how to build a community. You can study maybe nutrition, maybe it's training philosophies, maybe it's whatever. There is something that you can study so that you can get better at that skill. And if you want to hit the next level in your business, in your life, you must develop your skills. It's that important because you can watch a video and you can learn a little bit of information, or you can watch that same video 50 times and practice the thing in it 50 times, so much so that you get so good at that thing that now sales is no longer a weakness, it's a strength. And like, dude, I fucking hope that somebody actually takes this seriously, because every time I talk about this, I feel like it only lands for a select few, because the amount of work that goes into developing your skills is fucking intense, dude. Like when Cole and I were building our fitness business, we used to get on role plays every day, 5 days a week for 6 months. So if I got an objection on the phone, like let's say I got on the phone and somebody's like, I need to talk to my wife, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. So then if that was the case, I would call Cole the next day, the next morning, I'd be like, yo, so like the last call that I got on gave me the wife objection. So I'm going to start at the pitch, and then I want you to give me the wife objection. I'm going to practice overcoming it. Cool. He's like, yep, done. So I'm like, all right, bro. So the training, nutrition, and accountability all for 16 weeks is going to be $1,500. How does that sound? And he's like, I got to talk to my wife. And then I would practice overcoming it. And if it was good, sweet. If it wasn't good, I'd be like, yo, can we do that again? He's like, yep. And we would just go back and forth. And I just developed the skill of sales. Like so many people ask me on my content all the time. They're like, how'd you get good at selling? I practice more than you. That's it. And anyone can do that, dude. Like anyone can do that. But so many people don't do it because there's so much work attached to it. And that's why so many people don't get the result that they want, is because they're not willing to do the work that's attached to getting the thing that they want. It's like you want the fucking shiny object, you want the finished product, you want the trophy, but you're not willing to do the work behind the scenes that's going to get you there. My belief is that the work that you do in the dark is the shit that puts you into the light. Does that make sense? Perfect. So if you want to achieve all your goals in 2025, you can't be one of those fucking hippies that sits on your couch and just prays and meditates that all these things are going to come your way. It doesn't happen. Thing number one, you need to remind yourself of what you want. You can do this with sticky notes. You can do this with a vision video. You can do this with your vision board. Constant reminders. You can do this with your phone background. Constantly remind yourself of your goals. Don't be the person that sets a vision for 2025 and never looks at it. Number two is community. Get around other people that are doing what you want to do. Get around other people that are inspiring you to be better. Get in a mentorship program that could actually help you grow. Number three is skill development. Once you're in that mentorship program, you need to focus on developing your skills. If you suck at content, don't suck at content for too long. If you suck at sales, practice your sales calls. If you suck at delivery, learn how to build a community. Do whatever you need to do in order to develop the skill in the area so you can progress. If you're not fucking organized, get organized so you can make more money. That is it. That is all. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you absolutely smash your goals in 2025. And if you're looking for a mentor to help you this year get to the next level, send me a DM on Instagram that says 10K and let's have a conversation. Peace, love, protein. Have the best day of your entire life. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.